Hello there, this is the Blue Wizard. Welcome to episode 1 of Soul Arrow. Today we're going to be discussing what the nature of magic is. So, when you think of magic, if I say the word magic right now, what comes to your mind? A lot of you might be thinking of a wizard who throws fireballs and who can make spells and summon things and whatever. Some of you will think, oh, the magic of nature, and what magic is, first and foremost, all right, is the transformative element in mankind, or the transformative element in nature, but, as experienced by mankind. So when a human picks up an object, they don't just see the rock, they don't just see the stick, they don't just see whatever. They see potential. This rock could be an arrowhead. This rock could be an axe head. This rock could be used to make flint, and flint could be used to make fire, and fire could be used to make us warm. They don't just think, oh, that's a thing. They don't just think that's a thing. They think, how can I use this thing? And they make that thing into 100 million different things. All right. This ability to see something and see the potential in it and to differentiate it and to figure out, okay, why does this thing act this way? What makes this thing different from a counterpart? This rock is one color and this rock is another color. Well, why is that? Why is this rock red? It's red because it has iron in it. Figuring that out, asking those questions, and figuring out how to use the answers to survive better, it's our wins. It's our how do I put it? Our je ne sais quoi, you know what I mean? It's our special thing. Cheetahs run fast, lions are big and they roar and they eat lots of meat. Giraffes have really long legs. We transform, okay? And we, over time, have come up with many different methods of transformation, and one of those methods is called magic. And magic is interesting because it studies the studying. It studies the nature of our own transformative power. All right? It's one thing to have a tool. It's another thing to examine that tool and try and improve upon it. And we do this with everything. We see the light bulb, we're like, oh, incandescent light bulb, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But what about halogen? What about the energy saver label? You go from one thing to another because you always want to be improving the thing. There's a drive in humanity to continuously transform for the better. Magic is the discipline, is the art of awareness. It is the art of mastering the human spark. The spark that causes us to examine ourselves and the things around us and improve them. That spark, that awareness, okay? It turns that in on itself and allows the person to improve their own powers of awareness and their own ability to commune with nature and the people around them. It is the art of peopling, of personhood. Magic is a rite of passage in every culture. It is something that is inherent to the way we do things. When you create a piece of art, you're taking something from your innermost spirit, from your soul. And by the way, I'm not using a supernatural definition of soul. Soul is you, okay? Soul is always you. Whenever I say spirit or soul, know that I mean you, your inner workings. The only reason I don't just say consciousness is because you don't lose your soul when you go to sleep. And you can still get a impression of a person after they die. The soul is something more than that. When I say impression, I mean somebody's personality, somebody's way of seeing things, somebody's type of awareness doesn't just go away. And it doesn't come from nothing either. So because of that, when I'm talking about awareness, when I'm talking about these things, what I'm saying is people have this internal mirror that allows them to examine themselves in the world and put themselves apart from other things and separate things so that they can see them clearly. But it also allows them to reflect everything at one time and feel their connection to everything. And it's possible to improve this awareness, to improve this device by which you gather information to the point where you're not only able to see scientific facts and artistic techniques and spiritual platitudes, but also so that you can actually feel the flow of the universe itself, so you can actually feel a part of the thing that generates you. We exist in this big ball of chemicals and wonder, right? This magnificently, beautifully grotesque, messy, but at the same time methodical, ordered thing. okay, that is at once full of contradictions and yet perfectly streamlined. The universe could exist in no other way but the way that it is. It's the universe has unlimited possibilities in it. The only possibility that doesn't exist is nothing. All right? Think about it. If nothing could ever exist, right, then it would be the only thing. There would never have been things at all. If it's possible for there to just be nothing, that is the path of least resistance. Making stuff is hard. That's the fact. Making stuff requires that there be energy, all right? And in order for there to be energy, because let's go back to the beginning of everything. Okay, so there's a big nothingness, okay? Now, if the facts of reality were such that somethingness was an impossibility, then there would just continue to be nothingness forever. But somethingness is a part of reality. It's a rule of reality that a pool of nothing can't sit alone for too long without that spark coming along and making something happen. So, we have this drive, this eternal drive to somethingness, because it's a part of the whole universe. It's the reason for the universe to exist. All right? It's not, you don't just desire stuff because of chemicals. Those chemicals want to formulate themselves into continuously more complex shapes because that is a rule. That is a rule to how the universe functions. Okay? Self-improvement, increasing a complex structure and then being able to replicate that complex structure over and over and over again, all right, in various different ways to adapt and overcome various different things. That is the spark that makes a living thing living. RNA is just a combination of chemicals, but DNA is self-replicating. DNA grows, okay? So this is not something that you accidentaled upon. You're not a person because some random guy decided to blow a human spirit into you. This is an aspect of all life in existence. You just so happen to have self-reflection in such an abundance that you're able to provide a million different names for it, and you're able to cut it into a million different pieces to utilize it in different ways. So if you're an artist, or a scientist, or a religious person, or whatever you are, it doesn't matter what angle you're coming at this from. Improving awareness is key because awareness is the material that you use to build whatever castle you're living in. If you're a Christian and you're listening to this right now, and I think what you're doing is great. You're believing in something. You're allowing your version of reality to be augmented. It's okay for you to use this structure to guide your life. But while you're doing that, wouldn't it be nice if you enhanced your awareness? Because wouldn't enhancing your awareness allow you to understand the Bible, allow you to understand the church, allow you to understand your God even better than you did before? That's all magic is. Magic is not some evil black sorcery, okay? The reason why magic is associated with being able to predict the future is because people who are more aware of stuff generally are able to kind of be able to see ahead a little bit better. You're able to see what's going to kind of happen next because you're like, okay, this thing happens, and then I've noticed this thing happening, and this thing. Okay, so if that pattern persists, then this is what's going to happen next. So a prophet or whatever, a magic man might say, there's going to be a war soon. And it's like, what? There's no signs of war. Well, they have heightened awareness, so they're seeing all these little itty-bitty signs that you're not seeing, and then boom, a war blows out, and you're like, horrible black sorcerer, you have predicted a war. And it's like, no, they just know, man. They just know, they felt it. It's like a storm cloud, you know what I mean? They feel it happen. And people will experience weird shit like that all the time. They'll have a dream, and the dream will be prophetic, and then it'll come true, and they'll be like, oh my God, what? Is this some sort of supernatural force? And it's like, no, it's not a supernatural force. You just notice the signs. You put the puzzle together. And if you ever want to get really good at that and boost every aspect of your life, that's what magic does. Magic is the art of understanding the potential in all things, especially yourself, by way of increasing your awareness. Okay? Enlightenment, okay, is just being able to continuously improve yourself and the world around you without effort. It's just a fact of your being. Well, before it becomes a fact of your being, first you need to understand yourself. You have to understand, what is this world? What is it I'm trying to do? Who am I? these basic questions you need to answer. And magic is the path to answering them, no matter whether you have a religion or not. So I've talked about the purpose for magic. Magic is basically awareness turned on itself, being aware of your awareness and implementing practices by which you can improve it. But let's talk about something that's very important. There are basically two kinds of magic. They use all the same tools, but they're pointed in different directions. When you alter your own awareness, that's your personal magic. That's the magic that you do to improve you. But there's another way to use magic, and this is very important. Art. Let's talk about art. Art is the creation of stuff, specifically stuff that is meant to alter the awareness of other human beings. Art, if practiced, is like a spell. There is no difference between a spell and art, okay? The reason I say this is because the word grimoire, or book of shadows that the magician keeps his spells in, guess what that word actually is? Grammar. Grammar and grimoire are the same word, okay? They just got, the way they're said is misinterpreted a little bit, but they used to be one word. Grimoire, okay? Spell is to spell, as in to write. You know, when you are practicing creative things, a sigil, a rune, those are images, right? Those are artistic images. So all art is a conversation. It's a way of altering the person who you're talking to's consciousness. So if you've practiced art and with the intention of creating an emotion, of eliciting a thought in the viewer's brain or the consumer's brain, guess what? You're a magician. Whether you like it or not, you're a wizard. You have practiced magic because you have taken something from your spirit, molded it with intention to alter the spirit of another human being. Congratulations, you have dipped your first toe into the magical pool. And that's a wonderful thing. That shouldn't be a scary thing to you. You shouldn't say, "Oh my God, I'm a wizard. I've sinned." No. That's human. The human spirit is the source of all magic. Okay? It's a natural thing. It's like a kangaroo hopping or a fish swimming. You know, thank goodness you've practiced a little bit of magic. I hope you have. Otherwise, why are you listening to this? If you haven't made anything that has ever affected anyone in any way, then you should probably go fix that and then come back to this, and then we'll talk about how you could have done it better. But, you know, right now, for the love of God, just go out there and make something. Both types of magic are very important. Both the type where you improve your own awareness, but also the type where you bring people to a higher awareness of things. And remember, if you bend towards science, or if you bend towards artistic creativity, or if you bend towards anything that humans do, and you also have magic, that thing improves. So if you're a philosopher, right, you want to understand the secrets of the universe and find meaning to things and whatever. That's your big thing. You question everything. That's what philosophy is. Philosophy is the art of asking questions. Then you want to ask the smartest, best questions out there, and you want actual answers to those questions. Normal philosophy doesn't give you answer to any of your questions. One guy says one thing, one guy says another thing, and one guy asks the same question over and over again, but different ways. What good is that to you? If you are aware enough and you ask these questions, and you know philosophy so you can formulate them properly in your brain, definitely you'll be able to find your own meaning and your own answer to what's right and wrong. Magic boosts all of your faculties, you know. There's no one instantly get good at life spell, all right? A spell is essentially putting something into the universe with intention. It's a piece of art with purpose. So art plus purpose equals spell. And when I have an episode where I discuss spells, I'll talk about that more. Yeah, so this has been Soul Arrow episode 1, discussing what magic is. And just to summarize one final time, my little wizards and witches, magic is not some dark practice performed in evil covens with cauldrons and all that. Magic is the most complete spiritual discipline that you will ever practice. It is the deepest self you will ever be able to experience. It is a connection to all things, and most importantly, it is you improving and growing your soul, right? It is the art of the soul. So this has been episode 1 of Soul Arrow. See you again next time for episode 2, where we'll go into more detail about how different magical practitioners find their way through the universe what different kinds of magic there are, that kind of thing. So we'll talk about that next time. But for now, just remember, magic comes from within. Have a nice day, guys. See you again next time.